Good afternoon, everybody. I am Attorney Danyl Patterson, candidate for the 190th Legislative District of Pennsylvania. For those you don't know, that's West Philly, baby. Well, welcome to Feel Good Friday. And we're doing Feel Good Friday mostly because at this point, I think everybody's a little stir crazy. So instead of just the usual update on what's going on and giving you more explanations as to what's going on in the world at large, we're going to give you just the microcosm that is West Philly. But more importantly, we want to know about you. We want to talk about you. So if there's anybody who's over on Danyl Patterson for the 190th and they want to give me a shout out, something that they want to celebrate, please feel free to check into the comments because I would love to hear from you. First, I need to start out and tell you we're celebrating you. And so yesterday, unfortunately, I missed Will King's birthday. So happy birthday to Will King, one of our PTG founders. That's Project Tailgate to those who don't know in Philly. We still are a fabulous group of football fans out here in Philadelphia. And we celebrate all teams, but especially our Philadelphia Eagles. So yes, I'm an Eagles fan. I think you can check my page over at Danyl Patterson anytime and catch me in my full out green. But we make sure that we don't discriminate, but don't forget, Dallas still sucks. Okay, speaking of Dallas, we've got our number one Dallas fan, Geneva Pittman. We are wishing you a happy 50th birthday. I cannot believe she is so fine, and she is definitely a fabulous 50. So that's happy birthday to my girl who's always there when I need her to be, and sometimes when I don't, Geneva Pittman. And also one of my sister girlfriends from Philadelphia High School for Girls, Heather Redfern, wishing you a happy birthday today. Every day she makes sure that she has something fabulous and sweet to say about our stars as they celebrate 50. And I don't even know what to say about Heather because she's my fellow movie advocate and aficionado. She is our local access to all things transportation, letting us know what's really going on out there in these transportation streets, whether they planes, trains, or automobiles. And we love her for it. Yes, thank you. Happy Friday, Ava. And thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah, there you go. Yes, thank God it's Friday, honey, because there's some people who didn't think we were going to make it. And I'm not talking about the virus. I'm talking about sitting at home with your family and friends, your husband, your spouse, your kids. Anybody else feeling that pressure? Oh, it's just me. All right. I don't know. If you do, let's talk about it because later on today, we're going to have a virtual happy hour. Yes, it's the Get Happy Hour, girls only. We're going to log in and we've got some fantastic guests lined up and I'm going to tell you all about those. So if you need that link, make sure that you like and share, tag, and we will make sure that we send it to you because this is definitely invite only. We got to keep it intimate because we want you to be able to share your thoughts in a judgment-free zone about how you're feeling coping in the age of the Rona, but also how to help you make it through with some health and fitness tips, some breathing exercises you can do, how to keep yourself nutritionally sound, what depression really is, and what it's like to be a superwoman when you've got so many other things to deal with. It's okay to not let everything get in your way. You are still a success. And then finally, we cannot forget happy birthday to Maureen Dixon. I saw her husband, Kevin Dixon, give her a shout out this morning. Happy birthday. Unfortunately, unless you guys let me know specifically, a lot of times I don't know because Facebook, I can't figure out where that birthday thing is yet. I am sure that I'm going to reach out to our social media marketer to the stars, Shelly Williams, and Shelly Shell, Philly's Oprah, will be able to tell me exactly how you find it because Shelly is really one of those folks who make sure that she wishes every single person a happy birthday every day. It always makes everybody's day. So there is that. What do we actually have to talk about today? Well, they say that the president has a stimulus package at his desk. So now there's going to be a whole CNN town hall meeting. It's going to be a whole grand production. I'm sure it's going to be the greatest stimulus package that was ever in the history of stimulus packages. And we're all going to get a whole lot of money because that's what he said last night on CNN, talking about your President Trump. And so what he said was, it's the best stimulus package that he's ever seen. It's the greatest stimulus package, and every people are going to get a whole lot of money. I don't know. $1,200. Tell me, what can you do with that? I really want to know what the folks out there plan to do with their stimulus refund. And that's important because right now we're still in the middle of a crisis. They tell us that we'll get the checks or that we'll get the automatic deposits in about 15 days from the passage of the law. Okay, so please don't start flooding your local IRS office. Don't forget they're still functioning on skeleton staff and they're all working remotely to try and get access and learn exactly when these checks are going to be here. Because what we do know is 15 days from the time that the bill is actually signed by the president, the law goes into effect, and we are supposed to get direct deposit, meaning the last means that you paid or received funds. Now, this is very interesting because every single person who actually filed the tax does not get a refund. Not talking about the stimulus, I'm talking about previously. You know, myself, I haven't seen a tax refund in a minute. I always have to pay. So I'm wondering myself, is that the money? Is that the bank account that they're going to use? I'm definitely going to have to track that down. I can't be by myself needing that kind of information. So we know that. What else do we know? We have some information on the small business loans and what exactly that means and how our small businesses are going to be helped. Well, that's very, very important because, and hold on just a second as I make sure that everybody's active and has this information. Hold on just a second, sorry. Because y'all know I'm only but so technologically savvy, right? Sorry about that. What we do know is that the SBA, Small Business Association, is actually going to be in charge of these small business loans. So you need to make sure that you are following up with your small business association locally. That's one. Number two, that there's been all this talk specifically about whether or not this bill goes far enough with regard to small businesses because it's a loan, not a grant. Well, it's on a sliding scale, just like the stimulus checks. So that means that depending upon where you are with your business as to whether or not there's going to be loan forgiveness. So whether or not they're going to determine that you actually do not have to repay your loan. So there's all these stipulations on it. It's up to $10 million, which is fascinating because most small businesses I know don't generate $10 million. So, you know, your average small business, and I know I'm giving, you know, shout outs to the folks who've really been here in this time of need. Eatable Delights, David Sims, you have been a godsend out here in the community, talking about Star Fusion, making sure that we have had some access to good eats during this time of crisis, and they've been so responsive. Don't forget Cousins and Sunshine Food Markets. Those are our little grocers that are right in our neighborhood that we have access to and can walk to. We've got dry cleaners. I mean, I don't know about you, but a lot of people didn't pick up those clothes because they weren't necessary. I'm staying in the house. Why do I need to go and pick up my dry cleaning? The wash and fold has been booming, but not so much on the wash and fold. People have been going in. It's something else to do. They're so glad to go do laundry. So we need to make sure that all those businesses are thriving right along with the Acmes and the Giants and the Home Depots of the world. And you know what? We're going to come back and we're even going to talk about the liquor stores because there's a little bit of controversy. My friend Nick Mosley brought one up today. So now let's talk about some other things with the stimulus package. They didn't actually pass anything with regard to the student loans other than the interest-free deferment. So to my friends out there, there's going to be no $30,000 decrease immediately in your student loans. I know some people like myself are very, very sad. And there are other people who say, hey, I don't know why you're so sad about it. Well, I will say I listen all the time in like my lawyer groups and people who took out way more than me because I was fortunate enough to mostly be on scholarship for my education until we got down to that LLM thing at Temple. And all of a sudden I had to borrow, a lot of money like some other people did. But, my friends owed 100, 150 coming out of school. And you know what? It's 20 years later and they've been paying the whole time. And guess how much they owe? 100 and 150. That interest is compounded daily, not monthly, not weekly. It is compounded daily. And it's a hard nut to get out from under unless you can come out with some, windfall, large funding for your student loan. So if you're just paying your 400 or 500, or in some cases, I have friends who are paying $1,200 a month to student loans, they're never seeing that thing go away. And now here we are, they thought there was going to be a little bit of relief, and there's not. I told folks 15 years ago this: if you really want the economy to spurn, you should forgive these student loan debts, because everybody I know with one would go buy a house and a car, and a whole bunch of people would decide they could afford some babies. But that's always just been me talking to the people and seeing what's really out there, not sitting, in the White House and determining that that's that little bit of money over there. They don't need that. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Now, going back to some of the controversy. So we're still trying to figure out what's essential and what's not. And one of those issues is the cashless system in society and liquor stores. Okay. I don't know about you, but the very first thing that we were told was make sure that you have some cash in the house, but that you didn't want to handle it, because we know this virus can live on paper. It was, plastic could be sanitized. Your phone could be sanitized. So they told us to move over to cashless society. Well, in Philadelphia, it's illegal to be cashless. I don't know if anybody remembers, but a little over a year ago, City Council passed a law that it is illegal to operate a business totally cashless. And why is that? Because they said it discriminated against people who didn't have banks and banking systems. So I don't know if you remember this, but Sweet Green and Honey Grow, who had previously been cashless, were forced to start taking payments. Now, the reason that they said they weren't taking the payments previously was because it was supposed to be so much better. It was going to cut down on security. It was going to let them serve people faster. And then the city said, no, you can't do it. And then actually, after Philadelphia did it, a couple of other cities followed suit. Hey, Darryl Brooks, thanks for checking in. We appreciate you. Thanks for following us. And now we're right back to don't be cashless. So there was a run on the banks. And I don't know if anybody realized that there was a run on the banks. And then they told us, don't do that. The banks are going to be open. So we said, okay, that's fine. Don't take all the cash home. The banks are going to be open. Well, now we're 5 days into this. Philadelphia officially went into shutdown 8 a.m. on Monday. And now here it is, and it is 3:43 on Friday. And you need an appointment to go to some banks. Yes, an appointment. I don't know. I learned that the hard way. I did not know this. If you actually have to go to the bank, you need an appointment. And I learned this because in the midst of all of this, I got fraud charges on my debit card. Yes, in the midst of all of this, I got fraud charges on my credit card and alert. And so I had to go get another debit card. And that usually is not hard. Just going down to the PNC, and that's what happens. Now I actually had to make an appointment to do so. So that got really hard, and I started relying on that cash. Well, what happened? Delivery services didn't want to take your cash. Okay, so I can't use the delivery service. Okay, now what am I supposed to do? I really don't know. I'm trying to figure out what else to do. So then I had to learn about the, what's that thing called? Cash App card. There's a card that goes along with it. I had no idea, but that takes 7 to 10 days to get to you too. So that's not immediately happening. So then I had to figure out how to go with the contactless thing. And I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but me and the iPhone and that wallet never works out. I don't know why. And so then I learned. You have to actually authorize Apple Pay, your cashless system, to actually work with those cards. So what happened? That was actually what started my fraud alert. And that's the reason that I was locked out of my system and not able to use them, because PNC was not accepting what was going on with Apple Pay and assumed that because I had never previously used it, that it must be fraudulent. Okay, so check with your bank. So now we're using our, plastic exclusively. We're not using our cash. So then I had a constituent reach out to me, and guess what? He's already, struggling to pay bills. The account is, close to at its bare end. And guess what? Took it over to overdrawn because of the fees when he went to go and try to use the Mac machine. Yes, I'm old. I still call it the Mac machine, and I am so Philly. So now he's out here trying to use that, and he didn't have the 250 on his bank's end, and then the 250 at the machine, and the account went into overdraft. So if they know that we have to use their cards right now, the banks are closed, why are they still charging these kinds of fees? These are the kind of things that, being the state rep in Pennsylvania, when you have an access and a lifeline that can actually understand where you come from and your issues, that can be changed. And you asked me, how is that? I don't know if you realize this, but banking is controlled by each state. Each state determines what are the rules that can actually occur for that state, and banking is one of them. If you look up our Pennsylvania Department of State.gov, you will see that we actually have a caucus and a committee around the banking system. And that's where they determine where the laws are for the banks. So check that out, check out who's on it, and see, are they serving you and your needs, recognizing that these banks are charging $5 and $6 for fees to get out 20 and 30 bucks? Because it's not like we're going to go get 2,000. Most of our banks won't even allow us to get that much out of the bank at one time to make it cost worthy to even go to the Mac machine. But right now we have no choice because the banks are closed. Now, the liquor stores. So Pennsylvania did not determine that the liquor stores were essential, and they closed the wine and spirits. And many, many people were frustrated. But guess what? Delaware and New Jersey did not make the same discernation. There are a couple reasons. In New Jersey and Delaware, the liquor stores are privately owned. They are not state operations. So that means that each store can determine what they want to do. And so from the government on high, they decided you could still have liquor sales, and it did not impact them because they were individual stores and companies that were going to be responsible for carrying the weight of keeping their stores open. So for Pennsylvania, where we have the wine and spirit shop, and it's only us, and it's a part of our taxpayer dollars, it was a drain on our system and a risk to our health and safety of government employees. I totally understand it. So what did we do in Philadelphia and mostly in Pennsylvania, but I'm just really going to talk about Philadelphia and Delco in Montgomery County, because it's so easy to jump on 76 and cross the bridge. It's so easy to jump on 95 and cross the bridge. It's so easy to keep driving down 95 and get down to Delaware. And so now it's 1965 out here. And what do I mean about it's 1965? We are right back to enforcing the law. Now, a little bit harder in Delaware, because you're on 95 and they don't know where you're coming and going. So you go on down 95, you stop at the Total Wine, right across on Naaman's Road. You keep on going, you stop down at Target, pick up an essential item or two, and you come on back. Now, the reason I told you all about that is because I saw my dad and my granddad and all of them used to do it. And see, I can tell you that because they're not here anymore, and the statute of limitations done expired on their illegality. But I'm gonna tell you what they used to do, because they would get in the car and they would go on down to the Tri-State Mall, or they would go over to, like I said, Total Wine, later on Total Wine, because Total Wine wasn't always there. And they would head on down Naaman's Road and do their shopping. Because what happened, there used to be, and I'm sure y'all know, right at 95, when you come across the boundary line, Delaware into Pennsylvania, right now, there's a rest stop right there. Well, the state troopers used to sit there and they would watch the tags coming out of Tri-State Liquors. And it was real easy to watch them because in Delaware, they have a front plate and a black back plate. So they would see there was a police car, a state police car, that used to sit in the Tri-State Mall and see the cars that were being loaded up with liquor. You could target the ones from Pennsylvania easily because there was no front plate. They'd watch them load up, and then they would radio ahead and stop them when they crossed the state line. So I don't know if any of you pay attention to your liquor. There's always a band around it that tells you where it comes from, what state is being bottled in and sold in. So Pennsylvania versus New Jersey. Pennsylvania versus Delaware. And so what happened? They used to stop people and they were finding and they would jail them. And it was really a violation. And they kind of went lackadaisical on that. It was the same coming across into New Jersey. Same thing. They had front and back plates, and Pennsylvania only had one. So then my uncle, his favorite was Canals, not Joe Canals, Canals on what is that thing? 38. I think that's 38. He would go over there and then drive us on down to the Weber's root beer. I'm trying to tell y'all, like, I'm so Philly. Drive us down to the Weber's root beer. We would have one of those hamburgers or hot dogs and the fries, they come out and come to the door to the side of the car. Feed us that so that it wasn't just a trip over and a trip back. Maybe go down to the drive-through. There used to be a drive-through down there. And then he'd bring his car full of liquor right on back across the bridge. Why? Because he was waiting on time lapse. So that he didn't go across and come right back. Because again, it's real easy to watch who was coming into the canals parking lot with only a back license plate or with no front license plate, and to follow them coming right back across the bridge, literally right back across the bridge. So what's going on? It is now 2020 and Pennsylvanians are fully in day 5. I think Pennsylvania went into lockdown. See, every day I have to figure out what day it is. Pennsylvania's went into lockdown on Saturday. Philadelphia officially went into lockdown as a full lockdown as of 8 a.m. Monday. And so guess what? It took exactly 1 week for people to start remembering that they could go to Jersey and go to New York. Go to New Jersey and go to Delaware and get them some liquor. And guess what? The state police don't have anything else to do again. So guess who's getting stopped and guess who's enforcing this law? Now, it's very, very interesting from a legal standpoint because what do we know? They're not processing these violators because it's not safe to do so. So I'll say that Zeitgeist will tell us that in about a month, all of a sudden people are going to get these warrants and citations about processing for their violations because they are coming across the bridge. They are getting stopped. They are getting the fines and the citations. They're just not arresting and processing them yet. So I just want to say to everybody who's going out there to go get some liquor, really, really, how important is it to you? I know it's Feel Good Friday, but do you really need it? You really need to know about the risk and what's going on with that. Now, today, at 6 o'clock. I am so excited. We are hosting a very special virtual town hall. We're having a virtual Get Happy Hour. So with our VIPs, so our virtually important people are going to get together on this Zoom, and we've got some leaders in mental health, in fitness and exercise, and in health who are going to make sure that you can make it through the Rona. So who's going to be coming up? We've got Farida Boyer, who's going to be joining us from Boyer Counseling Group, and she is going to tell you that it's okay that your family gets on your nerves, you hate your husband, you probably hate yourself right about now. And she's going to help you get past it mentally, emotionally, and figure out how to deal with it so that you don't stab your significant other in the throat. I don't know anything about that, but I do know that, those thoughts come to everybody every now and then. About dumb stuff like, why didn't you wash the dishes? And can't you close the drawer? Those things are starting to get on our nerves. I don't speak from experience or something. I'm just saying that's probably happening. I'm just saying it's probably happening. And we've got Nikki Robinson, who is going to talk to us about some health and trying to eat right in the age of the Rona. So I reached out to her because I really just not have been feeling good. Don't worry. It wasn't shortness of breath or any of those kind of things. It was just the blah. So you don't know, I've been on this health and fitness journey for about 4 years. Yes, I'm still fat, but I'm still fabulous. And I'm one of those people that gets up every day at 4 o'clock and I meet up with my fit fam, and it's the best part of the day to exercise, and it puts me right in the mindset to be able to eat right for the day. And now I don't have that. And it is so very, very hard. Thank you, Rhonda. Yes, I'm trying to teach them. We got to learn today. How you doing, Miss Lorraine? Yeah, you never thought about that with the state stores. You really do, because you know what? It's happening, and we really don't want our people to get in trouble, for a $10 bottle of wine, because that's what it really comes down to. There's no limitation on what you can bring back across the bridge. There's none. So it's not 5 bottles is okay, but 10 bottles is not. 1 bottle, if you have it, you are in violation of the law. So now, what happens with that? So here we are. Now I can't get out to exercise the way I could. I tried the Zoom exercise and I just is not the same. It's nice to see everybody, but I know I'm not working out to the same level. And then the whole day kind of just circles the drain. I am eating breakfast too late. I'm not getting all my meals in, and then I'm snacking everything just because I can. I don't know. The adult onset acne is back. I got the zit on my chin, and every one side to the other. Why? Because I'm stressed and I'm not eating right and I'm not hydrating. So we got to get ourselves together, ladies. And so she's going to be on to teach us just a little bit of how. And then we need some mind body relaxation. I don't know. It's like everything hurts. My knee hurts, my back hurts, my neck hurts. And it's really just stress. It's the lack of mobility. I'm sitting around. The highlight of my day is coming to do the live chats with you, because then it's talking to somebody else. Even if it's just at the camera, it helps me feel connected. And I'm leaving that stress right in the middle of my back. So we're going to have some yoga and Pilates moves brought to you by April Monet Jackson. She's going to tell you about some new moves that you can do, some stretches, how to do yoga just in your own home. And I'm not talking about the hard stuff, because, I'm going to tell you, I like everything that I do looks like the beach whale. So it does not look like the downward dog. It doesn't look like any of those, none of those things does it look like. Matter of fact, I am going to try this tomorrow on another Zoom call with Ava Adames, and I'm actually going to videotape that. I might actually show Danielle trying to do some yoga, because mostly, trying to get the side plank, I just roll over, like, I don't know, the hindquarters down too far. It's like I can't get the booty all the way up. I don't know, but I try all the time. The point is that I'm trying. And then finally, we're just going to come back to Angela Clack. Dr. Angela Clack, she is an expert in the field of mental health. And she's going to teach us really about some of the signs of depression, to let us know that it's okay to be depressed. It's okay not to be a superwoman right now. Think about it. How many ladies are out there right now who are the everything? And we already feel like that's who we need to be. We are already the chief bottle washer. We are, we've got to be sexy at all times. We've got to feel like we looking our best and feeling the flyest. And, we're already washing, I bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan, and never let you forget you a man. So we doing all that. And on top of that, now we got to educate the kids. We're still keeping the house clean. I can't get the TV remote. This is me personally. And you know what? It's driving us nuts. It's okay not to do everything, ladies. It really is. And she's going to help you understand why and how to focus on you during this time. Hey, thanks, Bob. Thank you, Robert Klein. Yes, thank you so much. We try with the updates every day, sometimes a little bit harder than others because we're ever changing all the time here. But it's okay, ladies. You don't have to be everything. It's okay if you're walking around in those pajamas, which I know most of you are. But it's also okay if you really want some lipstick in your life. And I say this because immediately I came downstairs one morning. Everybody's like, where are you going? I was like to go do the breakfast, because getting up in my regular routine and doing my shower immediately and doing my makeup immediately and putting on some fresh clothes made the day just that much brighter. I don't know about you, but when I'm walking around in my pajamas, I feel like I'm in my pajamas all day. It's just not as productive. I feel blah, and I don't feel good about me. Ladies, we got to feel about ourselves to get through this, because you know what? What you don't want is a weakened immune system from a lack of emotional support, a lack of mental health, because then you are more susceptible to the Rona. So if anybody's out here in the sound of my voice and they're interested, please like the post, comment that you're in. We will send you the private link. We're trying to keep it fairly exclusive, and we're keeping it down to 30 individuals because we really want people to be able to like and share. Now, then finally, we've got the fabulous Kimberly Gray, as social worker, who is going to with resources. Why? We've got to know where we can get some help. Now, I know just me, I know that Boyer Counseling Group is right around the corner from me on 54th and Chestnut Streets. And I know that they had a family therapy, but I know that she's doing virtual one-on-ones. I know that Dr. Angela Clack is also available virtually to us right now. But you know what? I used to be able to go just to the ladies chat, over at the YMCA. Sometimes, I could just meet with my girlfriends and that let me do it. And I know, and not being able to meet with my girlfriends has been the hardest part of this thing, because sometimes your girlfriends have all the answers. And then you can't even just go to the real happy hour. So where are the other resources? Because sometimes your girlfriends just aren't enough. There are so many things going on virtually, resources that have hotlines. Zooms are now set up because we know we do better in the one-on-one. We want to see you. And Kimberly's going to have all of that for you, along with some new techniques to even identify some services that you don't know that you necessarily needed or wanted. So I'm going to see you all. I'm going to log off here. It's 4 o'clock. Y'all know the rules, 30 minutes. I'm going to log off here. Wish you all a feel good, fantastic Friday. And I hope to see some of you ladies in the Zoom later. I'm going to change my lipstick and fix my hair because, ladies, it is time to get fabulous so we can feel good for the VIP Get Happy Hour. Goodbye.